Now, you know, because you have on your head several caps, you're a pastor's wife, you're a mother, you're a minister,
Yeah,
you're a sister, you're an in-law, uh,
yeah.
several caps. Now, one of the greatest challenge that people have is having a balance to life. You're working, you're heading a department, you're doing several things at the same time, pressures from everywhere, and everyone is striving to live a balanced life
Yeah.
where an aspect does not suffer, where motherhood does not suffer. You're blessed with two amazing kids. You don't neglect them by any means. You have your wifely duties. You still must play your wifely duties. Now you have your responsibility to all of the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of young people that are looking up to you. Uh, you have a major responsibility of the church looking up to you as the pastor's wife, being married to the resident pastor of such a mega church. There's a lot of responsibility directly or indirectly. Now, how do you strive to keep everything together that you don't lose it? And you still come out smiling, you still have your hair nicely done, you have your nails nicely done, and still looking all
Yeah.
together. How do you balance it?
Okay. First of all, prayer. I cannot do
Everything by
without
everything by
yes,
prayer.
everything by prayer.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
definitely prayer because
yeah,
it requires a lot of grace and a lot of help,
yeah.
to be able to navigate everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all these are just privileges that God has given to us. So definitely by prayer and obviously having a schedule, like keeping, like you said, just
Schedule.
keeping that balance is very, very key. So when it's time to be with my children, that is it. Everything else is on its own. I'm not bothered about anything else. When there's time to be in the office, I'm there. I'm focused on what I'm supposed to do at that particular point in time. And then once I've left the office, although it's not very possible, but once I've left the office, you
I've
leave the office.
left.
You leave the office work there, but it's not very possible, as you
Yeah,
know, because it's
yeah.
like you're on call 24/7. But you just try to strike a balance as much as I can, and just make sure that there's a schedule. Because I know
Yeah.
that from this time to this time, once my children are back home, it's me hanging out with them, me trying to find out what's up with them, studying with them, reading with them, whatever it is. But the key thing is prayer. And I think one of the things that has helped me as a pastor's wife is not having resentment. I think it has helped me. Um, it's not something that a lot of people
Yeah.
will say, but I've noticed that for a lot of ministers' wives, there's a bit of resentment or bitterness about what their husband has been called to do. Because
Mm-hmm.
obviously, for many pastors' wives, once the pastor has been called into something, it affects your life, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things that you have to let go of, a lot of things you have to give up, and all that. And if you do it with resentment, offense, bitterness, it will be difficult for you to genuinely enjoy where God has placed you. So
That's
for
absolutely true.
me, I think one of the things that has helped me is that I fight against any kind of resentment. And earlier I talked about even people that come around, when people come around and try to feel bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
They are feeling bad for you and all
Yeah.
that. I fight that with all my being so that
Mm.
it doesn't affect how I approach the ministry, how I approach my husband, how I approach his assignments, how I approach the things that I have to do. Because obviously, being married to my husband has required him to be gone a lot. You know that he's
Yeah.
very, very, uh, he's very, very busy and all that. And one of the things I'm grateful for is that he also tries to strike a balance, because we have to talk about it. I told him, I remember at the very beginning, I said, don't leave us behind. That's one of the things I said to him. I said, no matter whatever you do, don't leave us behind. As you're growing spiritually, as you're moving forward in your calling, the only thing I'm asking of you is that don't
Take us
leave me.
along.
take us along. Don't leave us
Mm.
behind.
Mm.
And by God's grace, he has been able to make sure that there's a balance. So he spends a lot of time with the children. He spends a lot of time with me. It may not be quantity time, but it's quality
Quality
time.
time.
So
Beautiful.
for
Beautiful.
me, that's the key thing. And even as a minister's wife, I've had to be understanding, wear
Mm.
understanding like a cloth, and not
Mm-hmm.
allow myself to allow any form of bitterness or offense or resentment in my heart against it. So
Yeah.
all that has helped. prayer, just making sure that there's a schedule, balancing it all, and making sure that you don't harbor any form of bitterness or resentment in your hearts for any reason.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Those are very interesting answers to questions. We had sent out something on IG earlier today, and having people sending questions. And
Oh, Lord.
this question I just asked was one of the questions sent in by one of our precious people. And someone also said we should ask you that, has it been a pastor's wife contributed to your walk with God as a person? Has that contributed? You know, it's not every pastor's wife will be spiritual. Not every pastor's wife will have depths in the things of God. They could occupy the seat or the position, but they may not carry the unction. And how has that contributed to your personal walk with God and shaped your perspective on life?
Okay, well, as far as my spiritual walk is concerned, you know, one of the things I always like to tell people, sometimes when people are maybe just got married to a pastor or they're about to get married to a pastor, they would always come and they will ask, and what are the things that I need to do and all that. And I always tell them, don't focus so much on preparing to be a pastor's wife. If not, a lot of the things you do will be pretense. Focus more on spiritual growth, on intimacy with God. Yes, and it will spill over into you being a pastor's wife, your mother, wherever you find yourself. But if you focus more on, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a pastor's wife, oh my goodness, I'm a pastor's wife, it should be more of pretending, in my own opinion, because everybody has a different expectation or different understanding of what a pastor's wife is, and you find yourself trying to live up to everybody's expectation if you're not careful. Exactly, if you're not careful. So much more focus on intimacy with God, growing in God, spiritual maturity, all those things will spill over. One of my favorite scriptures is Philippians 1:27 that talks about whatever happens, let your manner of life be worthy of the gospel of Christ. It's a scripture that I love so much, because if your manner of living, whether you're a pastor's wife or not, is worthy of the gospel of Christ, then it wouldn't matter whether you're a pastor's wife or not. So you wouldn't be so focused on because I'm a pastor's wife, I have to be like this, or because I'm a pastor's wife, I have to be like that. If you are focused on, I want to grow in the fruit of the Spirit on my own, when you have to deal with people, you know, in ministry, people come in all shapes, forms, and sizes, as I've learned. So if you're truly working on growing spiritually, walking in the Spirit, when you have to deal with certain people, that fruit of the Spirit will show up. But if you are so focused about how I'm supposed to act or be as a minister's wife, you will fall short. You will fall short and end up failing. So for me, I focused more on my spiritual walk, intimacy with God, making sure that in everything I do, is it worthy of the gospel of Christ? How is a Christian supposed to behave? And then from there, it has helped me as a pastor's wife. Because like I said, we have to deal with all kinds of people, you have to deal with all kinds of situations, and we have to be ready. But if I'm not growing spiritually, then I can't be ready. So that's my own perspective on it.
Beautiful, beautiful. So it's more like you deal with yourself first.
Yes.
Once you have quality work with God, it will spill over to your assignment as a pastor's wife. I think that's very striking for many people. So don't just pay attention to the office of the pastor's wife. Pay attention to you and your work with God.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful.